Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtike. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pricharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue today our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, Chapter 9. We are on text 18. Text 18. So let's begin. Tad darshana halada pariplutantaro Rishyatanu prema bharashrulochanaha Nanama padambujam asya vishwasvir Yat parahamsam yena padhadigamyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma, thus seeing the personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart, and thus in full transcendental love and ecstasy, his eyes filled with tears of love. He thus bowed down before the Lord. That is the way of the highest perfection for the living being, Paramhamsa. So now this verse described what was Lord Brahma feeling when he saw the Lord face to face. His heart was overwhelmed with joy. And because of this joy, he was ecstatic and there was tears flowing from his eyes. And he offered his obeisances to the Lord. And that is the perfection. That is what we should strive for also, to be able to see the Lord face to face, to be with the Lord. In the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that this great literature is meant for the Paramhamsas. Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam, that is, the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for persons completely free from malice. In the conditioned life, the malicious life begins from the top, namely, bearing malice against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Personality of Godhead is an established fact in all the revealed scriptures. And in the Bhagavad Gita, the personal feature of the Supreme Lord is especially mentioned, so much so that the last portion of the great literature has emphatically stressed that one should surrender unto the personality of Godhead, to be saved from the miseries of life. So why are we here actually? Is because of our envy. Malice is envy of Krishna. Because we are malicious of him, we are envious of him. We are given a chance to correct ourselves, correct our thinking in this material creation. And Paramhamsas, when a Paramhamsa is somebody who's completely freed from this malice. He's in love with the Supreme Lord, not envious of the Supreme Lord. He understands correctly the position of the Supreme Lord and himself. So Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for persons who are Paramhamsas, who are completely freed from vice. And for us, at our stage, it will help us to clean our malice in our hearts. It will help to clean the material desires from our hearts. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that Bhagavad Gita in the last portion, Krishna says, just surrender unto me. And that is what is required. Why surrender unto me? Because we are all facing so many miseries of life. At each and every moment, we are in this material world, each and every moment, each and every living entity is afflicted by either of the three kinds of miseries. Miseries which are caused by our own body or mind, which, we can see our anxieties or fears or diseases. Then miseries that are caused to us by other living entities, maybe like some animals attacking us or even people attacking us, being rude. And the third misery is being affected by the miseries caused by Mother Nature or the demigods, like typhoons, famines, earthquakes. We've been experiencing earthquakes since 2 days. So thankfully it was nothing major. So these miseries, now to get completely free from the miseries, Krishna says, don't get, you just surrender unto me and I will take away all your miseries, be saved from the miseries of life. So what happens is the miseries will continue, but we won't be affected by it. Right now when we are not in touch with Krishna, then we get affected by what's happening around us. But when we start surrendering to Krishna, the more we surrender to that degree, the outside circumstances, we don't get disturbed by that. Unfortunately, persons with impious backgrounds do not believe in the personality of Godhead, and everyone wants to become God himself without any qualification. This malicious nature in the conditioned soul continues even up to the stage when a person wants to be one with the Lord, and thus even the greatest of the empiric philosophers, speculating on becoming one with the Supreme Lord, cannot become a Paramhamsa because of the malicious mind is there. So there are certain class of people, they say, oh, after we give up the body, we want that our soul should go inside the body of Krishna. That is also a type of malicious nature, because means we are envious of God. We want to become God. That's why we want to get into his body. But it's not possible. Even if we go into his body, which is the Brahma Jyoti, we will still remain individuals. We can never become God. It is just a phantasmagoria of our imagination if we ever think that we can become God. Therefore, the Paramhamsa stage of life can be attained only by those who are fixed in the practice of Bhakti Yoga. This Bhakti Yoga begins if a person has the firm conviction that simply discharging devotional service to the Lord in full transcendental love, one can elevate him to the highest perfectional stage of life. Brahmaji believed in this art of Bhakti Yoga. He believed in the instruction of the Lord to execute tapa, and he discharged the function with great penance, and thus achieved the great success of seeing the Vaikuntha Lokas, and the Lord also by his personal experience. No one can reach the abode of the Supreme Lord by any mechanical means of the mind or machine, but one can reach the abode of the Vaikuntha Lokas simply by following the process of Bhakti Yoga, because the Lord can be realized only through the Bhakti Yoga process. Lord Brahmaji was actually sitting on his lotus seat, and from there, by executing the process of Bhakti Yoga in great seriousness, he could see the Vaikuntha Lokas with all variegatedness, as well as the Lord in person and his associates. So if we want to see the Lord, if we want to see the spiritual world, we also have to engage in Bhakti Yoga. We should have that full faith that by engaging in Bhakti Yoga, all the devotees, the Mahajans, the Acharyas, by engaging in Bhakti Yoga, they have seen the Lord face to face. So if we also engage in Bhakti Yoga with firm faith and in the proper following the process properly under the guidance of a spiritual master, we will also get all perfection. Because many people say, oh, why should I believe? Have you seen God? Here, Brahmaji is saying he's seen. He is seeing Krishna. He's seeing Lord Vishnu. That's how he's able to describe it. So the proof is here. Following in the footsteps of Lord Brahma, any person, even up to this day, can attain the same perfection by following the path of the Paramhamsa, as recommended herein. Lord Caitanya also approved of this method of self-realization for men in this age. One should first, with all conviction, believe in the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and without making efforts to realize him by speculative philosophy, one should prefer to hear about him from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and later from the text of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So because many people, they say, okay, I know Krishna, I know he's God. But then we don't want to hear from the scriptures, from the devotees. We just make up our own mind, our own imagination. But because what we think most often is not true. So we need to hear from the authorities properly. Same as we are going to school, we can't tell the teacher, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to make up my own theories. I'm going to make up my own text and study that. For sure we are going to fail the class. We won't be able to get it. So same way, here also, we don't need to mentally speculate who's God and what's happening. Just hear from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, hear from the pure devotees who have actually seen the Lord, or who are hearing from the devotees who have seen the Lord. So their knowledge is perfect. One should hear such discourses from a person Bhagavatam and not from the professional man or from the karmi, jnani or yogi. That is the secret of learning the science. One does not need to be in the renounced order of life. He can remain in his present condition of life, but he must search out the association of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and hear from him the transcendental message of the Lord with faith and conviction. So we don't have to go to the forest to search the Lord. We don't have to do great meditation, tapasya. No, wherever we are, whatever position of life we are in, we just stay where we are and start hearing and chanting about the Lord from the pure devotee, not from professional. So we need to educate ourselves to try to understand who is a professional person and who is actually a devotee. We need to do that research. Because as we do so much research when we want to buy something valuable, we take that efforts to find out, what is a real diamond, what is a fake diamond. We are going to the experts, asking for certificates. So that we owe it to ourselves. We should find out who is a professional speaker and who is a pure devotee. That is the secret of learning the science. One does not need to be in the renounced order of life. He can remain in his present condition of life, but he must search out the association of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and hear from him the transcendental message of the Lord with faith and conviction. That is the path of the Paramhamsa recommended herein. Amongst various holy names of the Lord, he is also called Ajita, or one who can never be conquered by anyone else. Yet, he can be conquered by the Paramhamsa path, as practically realized and shown by the great spiritual master, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma has personally recommended this Paramhamsa Pantha in his own words as follows. Jnane prayasam udapashya namanta eva jivanti sanmukha ritam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthita shruti gatam tanuvan manobhir ye prayasho jita jito api asita strilokyam. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord Krishna, a devotee who abandons the path of empiric philosophical speculation aimed at merging in the existence of the Supreme and engages himself in hearing your glories and activities from a bona fide sadhu or saint, and who lives an honest life in the occupational engagement of his social life, can conquer your sympathy and mercy, even though you are ajita or unconquerable. That is the path of the Paramhamsas, which was personally followed by Lord Brahma and later recommended by him for attaining perfect success in life. So this is the way that we can also become Paramhamsa by following in the footsteps. We should not artificially think we have reached any high level of realization, but with humility, accept the instruction of the devotees, what they are saying. What is Brahmaji saying is, wherever we are in our social life, wherever we are, we just simply hear the glories and activities of the Supreme Lord from a bona fide sadhu or a saint. And in this way, what we can do, we can get the mercy of the Lord and conquer Krishna. Krishna is unconquerable. Nobody can conquer him. The great yogis, they are trying to conquer him by sitting in meditation. The jnanis are trying to conquer the Lord by cultivating a lot of knowledge. But Krishna can't be conquered like that. But he can be easily conquered by the devotee who is sincerely following the path of the previous devotees, who's following the instructions of the previous devotees. So Krishna is easily conquered by such persons. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, means we can conquer his sympathy and mercy.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, not conquer him, but his sympathy and mercy.
Oh, well, pure devotees of the Lord, they conquer Krishna also, because they are on that high status, the pure devotees, the Brajvasis, they are carrying, Krishna is carrying the boys on his shoulder. Oh, they say, oh, who are you? You just have 900,000 cows. Sridham tells Krishna, my father is more richer than you. He has 1.1 million cows. And then when they lose, then they tell Krishna, now you lost in the wrestling match. You carry me on your back. So a pure devotee, by his pure love, conquers Krishna. That's the reason Krishna doesn't give his pure love very easily to everyone, because he gets conquered by the devotee. So it's very difficult to get that stage, but it's not impossible. Not impossible.
So that is that Paramahams stage, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So at our stage, what we can do is follow the instructions of the Paramhamsas. Follow their guidance, what they're asking us to do, what hearing, chanting, what they're telling us not to do, observe the regulative principles, and then follow their path.
Yeah, you find some saints, no? They have in the beginning of their name, Paramahamsa. Is that what it means? That they have reached that stage?
It depends. A Paramhamsa we can see a Paramhamsa by his words, not by only what they're calling themselves, We have to see what are their actions and what they are speaking about. Paramhamsa means somebody who speaks only about Krishna. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. He has nothing to do with this material world. He's just totally, in his relationship with Krishna. He's actually situated in his relationship with Krishna. That is Paramhamsa.
Like for Ramakrishna, no? They say Paramahamsa Ramakrishna. So I'm just wondering, yeah.
Yeah, so many people get some titles, but they might not actually be on
or
that.
Maybe the devotees are giving that title.
Yeah. Because Paramhamsa doesn't call himself a Paramhamsa. He doesn't. He doesn't let his devotees also call him that, because they're so humble. They're so humble, and they're actually situated in their relationship with Krishna. And so they are able to give Krishna to everyone. They will encourage everyone to also be established in their relationship with Krishna. It's like the highest stage, very high stage of bhakti, pure devotion service.
Okay.
So, reading on, text 19. Tam priyamanam samupastitam kavim praja visarge nija shashanarhanam babhasa ishat smita shochisha gira priya priyam prita manaha kares prashan. After and seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus, being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and, slightly smiling, addressed him thus. The creation of the material world is not blind or accidental. The living entities who are ever conditioned or nitya bada are thus given a chance for liberation under the guidance of his own representative like Brahma. The Lord instructs Brahma in Vedic knowledge in order to diffuse this knowledge to the conditioned souls. The conditioned souls are forgetful souls in their relationship with the Lord, and thus a period of creation and the process of dissemination of Vedic knowledge are necessary activities of the Lord. Lord Brahma has a great responsibility in delivering the conditioned souls, and therefore he is very dear to the Lord. So Brahmaji is a pure devotee of the Lord, and he's doing a very, very important task to create this secondary material creation, because Krishna wants this creation to happen so that souls like us can be corrected. And then Brahmaji is facilitating this creation, you know. He's being the personality who is in charge of the creation. So he is very dear to the Lord because he's serving the Lord. He's doing the great service to the Lord. And here is so this, no, that Krishna, the Lord, he shook hands with Brahma, you know. Brahma also does his duty very perfectly, not by generating the living entities, but also by spreading his party for reclaiming the fallen souls. The party is called the Brahma Sampradaya, and any member of this party to date is naturally engaged in reclaiming the fallen souls back to Godhead, back home. So Lord Brahma, he is not only just okay that I'm created and I'm okay, no, but he's preaching the glories of the Lord. He instructed Narad Muni, preach the glories of the Lord of devotional service, explain to people what is our true position. So, and then that's how we are. We are in this Brahma Madhva, Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya, because it's starting from Lord Brahma. So Prabhupada is in this Sampradaya, you know, starting from Lord Brahma. The Lord is very much anxious to get back his parts and parcels, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. No one is more dear than the one who takes the task of reclaiming the fallen souls back to Godhead. So somebody who takes up the service of telling others about Krishna, about telling others about their true position is very, very dear to the Lord. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, that the one who explains this supreme science to the devotees, they are very dear to me. Why? Because everyone here is suffering. And then the reason we are suffering is because we think we are the body. And because we think we are the body, we don't know that there is a spiritual world, that we shouldn't even be here. And we get all engrossed in such activities and continue to suffer. But some pure devotee, some devotee out of their kindness, they come and tell us, hey, you don't need to be here, you know. You're not the soul. You are the son of a very rich man. Come and enjoy over there. You don't need to suffer. So that's the greatest benefit we are doing. We are permanently giving them a solution for their suffering. So that's why the Lord says that they are very dear. There are many renegades from the Brahma Sampradaya whose only business is to make men more forgetful of the Lord and thus entangle them more and more in material existence. Such persons are never dear to the Lord, and the Lord sends them deeper into the darkest region of matter, so that such envious demons may not be able to know the Supreme Lord. Anyone, however, preaching the mission of the Lord in the line of the Brahma Sampradaya is always dear to the Lord, and the Lord, being satisfied with such a preacher of the authorized bhakti cult, shakes hand with him in great satisfaction. So anybody who is falling away from what is the mood of the pure devotees is to tell everybody about Krishna and the truth about themselves, that you're not the body or the soul. And so these, when somebody is doing the correct preaching, they are very dear to the Lord and the Lord shakes their hand. But somebody who's coming from this line and is in fact misguiding the people. If anybody says that, oh, I'm from this line, but I'm misguiding you, well, nobody says I'm misguiding you, but they don't tell them the truth that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and you are is eternal part and parcel. The Krishna is never going to be happy with that person. That person can never get the blessings of the previous acharyas, of the pure devotees, because all what a pure devotee wants is that everyone to be connected to Krishna, the original Father, the original source. Is that okay?
Yes, in fact, it can be sinful, no?
Yes, very sinful, because we are then responsible for keeping them longer in this material world, Then we are responsible for the suffering, because till the time they're in the material world, they'll continue to suffer. So all that suffering, we become taking a share of that suffering when we are misguiding people as to their real eternal nature, So it's a great responsibility. Great responsibility on the part of the speaker and the great responsibility on the part of the hearer. We also should hear from the correct person, both ways. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Tvayaham Toshita Samyag Veda Garbha Shishikshaya Chiram Pratena Tapasad Dushtosha Kuta Yoginam. The beautiful personality of Godhead addressed Lord Brahma, O Brahma, impregnated with the Vedas, I am very much pleased with your long accumulated penance, with the desire for creation. Hardly am I pleased with the pseudo-mystics. There are two kinds of penance, one for sense gratification and the other for self-realization. There are many pseudo-mystics who undergo severe penances for their own satisfaction, and there are others who undergo severe penances for the satisfaction of the senses of the Lord. For example, the penances undertaken to discover nuclear weapons will never satisfy the Lord, because such a penance is never satisfactory. So there are many people who endeavor a lot. Anything needs endeavor. Even if you have to make nuclear weapons, for example, here Prabhupada is saying, so much time, energy is to be utilized in it. So much you have to study, so much research work, all that. But that is never pleasing to the Lord. Why? Because it's in fact destructive to that person himself and everyone around. But when we take up the endeavor, use our energy for the satisfaction of the senses of the Lord, then the Lord is very satisfied. By nature's own way, everyone has to meet death. And if such a process of death is accelerated by anyone's penances, there is no satisfaction for the Lord. The Lord wants every one of his parts and parcels to attain eternal life and bliss by coming to Godhead. And the whole material creation is meant for that objective. This is what Krishna wants. What he wants, actually. He wants each of us to go back home. He does not want us to live here. He wants us to come and live in bliss, in eternity, and full of knowledge with him in the spiritual world. And that's why he's created this material world to correct us, to create in us that desire to go back. Brahma underwent severe penances for that purpose, namely to regulate the process of creation so that the Lord might be satisfied. Therefore, the Lord was very much pleased with him. And for this, Brahma was impregnated with Vedic knowledge. The ultimate purpose of Vedic knowledge is to know the Lord and not to misuse the knowledge for any other purposes. Those who do not utilize Vedic knowledge for that purpose are known as Kutta yogis or pseudo-transcendentalists who spoil their lives with ulterior motives. So because Krishna was happy with Brahmaji, he gave him all the knowledge of the Vedas within his heart. But then somebody who knows the knowledge of the Vedas but does not understand that the purpose of the knowledge is to know Krishna, but in fact uses that knowledge misuses that knowledge for their own sense gratification, then they're just spoiling their own lives. Is that okay?
Yes.
Any
Yes, looks okay.
Any questions or comments?
No.
Then we can stop here.
Yeah, okay.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur ki jai, Hare
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank